All right, so Google has alerted me that all the images have been uploaded. So now all we have to do is actually label them. So what we're going to go ahead and do is add a new label right here. So there's this add new label feature. We're going to type in license plate because that's what I want it to determine is a license plate. If you had more labels, you could continue to add more labels here. If you wanted to do, let's say, car, or if you wanted to say, I don't know, other things. But yeah, you know what? Let's do car because I think it'll be fun. So here we go. Just go ahead and I like to go on the unlabeled section. Click on an image. It's easy to draw an image. You just go ahead and highlight it. Well, bam. And make sure you label it as a license plate. I guess we could detect that as car. And that one will be a car. And we'll save it. And let's see how all this goes and does. It's pretty simple. And then you just have to go through and keep labeling license plate, license plate, car, car. And that's all you're going to have to do. And you have to do this for every single image. It's a pain, but that's the way it goes. Now the nice thing is you only have to do this for a few images, and then I can show you how we can actually leverage using a model to put these images in for us. Okay, so Google can be slow sometimes. For the most part, it's not too bad. I've never done cars, so it will be interesting to see what we get. Car, license plate, license plate. Now, what you will notice is this car over here, it technically has a license plate. And while we can zoom in and put the license plate there, if we try to save this, it probably won't work. That's because oh, it will work. Wow. Okay. So a limitation of Google's AutoML services is that they can only detect images that are larger than 8 by 8 pixels, or objects that are larger than 8 by 8 pixels. So something I have run into when labeling my dataset is that the license plate is actually too small, and it can't determine that there's a license plate. And actually, you know what? That's a license plate, and that's a car. And you really, it's all about data in, data out, as people say. If you put junk in, you're gonna get junk out. Now, with the nice thing about Google's AutoML services, they're trying to figure out what all those things are, right? So in some way, you should be okay with a little bit of bad data, in my opinion. Some blatantly wrong data, though, yeah, it screws things up pretty good. So you just have to go through and do this for each one. And it's, it takes a little bit of time. What you can do now is you can also, when you have a lot of things to label in an image, typically you can use tabs and enters. Wow, there are a lot of cars in this thing right here. That's a car, and I'm gonna leave those out. But so I can type okay, and those are our cars. So we'll save that. I have no idea how this is gonna work, if Google's AutoML will like this or not. Looks like we already did this image, but whatever. Let's just do it again. That's technically a car. Like, do we add that in or not? I don't think we add that one in because I don't really want that in my predictions. Things to think about when you're doing these images. What do you really want? You know, what is the use case that these are going to be actually done in? Because you want these images to be labeled as close to the real world as possible. Because that's what Google is trying to optimize for, is real world performance. And that they're only going to be able to optimize that. See, that is not a license plate, so make sure that things are labeled correctly. It's easy. It's easy to mess up. So that's why a lot of times when you do a data labeling service, you use 3 people and you make sure that only when all 3 actually agree do you use that data. It's a nice little trick. But we don't have that option here. So, okay, and then I'm gonna try to say that there's another license plate. And that there would be a license plate. So license plate, license plate, license plate. And this is what you gotta do, guys. You just gotta go through, going through them all, and labeling each one. Take some time, get your brother, sister, friend to help you out, do it. Because that's just the way it is. Okay, we got this car. I want that car. I want that license plate. I want that car. And I want... It can be really difficult to get close to the edge on these Google images. It's a car. And that's a car. Alright, let's... Sometimes I think it would be better to just select some other images sometimes. Like this image, I don't know if it's that great because these other cars are in here, right? So if you think about the machine that's being trained here, in Google's AutoML services, or with Google's Vision API, or what we're building and how Google does it, each class is independent of each other. They don't have any knowledge. They don't know anything else besides what you have marked on the screen. They don't know that it's called car. They don't have any of that reference